Hey there. Welcome to a deep dive,
Hmm.
into how digital tools are changing the lives of displaced populations.
Yeah.
These sources, that you shared really paint an inspiring picture. It's not just about providing aid, it's, about unlocking potential, even economic independence.
Right.
We're looking at excerpts from an article featuring global strategist Sophie Krantz.
Yeah.
And she seems to have this knack for finding possibility where most people see problems.
What's so fascinating about Krantz's work is she doesn't shy away from the harsh realities of displacement. She
Well,
actually uses a story about a Syrian woman named Kholoud
oh,
who
wow.
has been displaced multiple times
Okay.
to really drive home the human cost of these global events.
Yeah.
Kholoud talks about longing for home,
Yeah.
missing simple things, even
Yeah.
her children's toys.
Oh, that's so sad. It's so easy to get lost in the statistics, right?
It is.
But hearing Kolu's story makes you realize that behind every number is a person
Yeah.
with hopes and dreams and experiences.
Right. Just like ours.
Absolutely. And speaking of those numbers,
Yeah.
the UNHCR reported a staggering 117.3 million forcibly displaced people
Wow.
worldwide.
Yeah.
At the end of 2023,
Gosh.
a number driven by conflict, violence, and persecution.
Wow. It's almost hard to grasp a number that large.
Yeah,
But one of the things that struck me was that the source material really highlights how this burden isn't evenly distributed.
right.
Most refugees are coming from just a handful of countries:
Absolutely.
Afghanistan, Syria, Venezuela, Ukraine, and South Sudan.
And where do you think most of these refugees end up?
I don't know where.
It turns out a whopping 69% reside in countries that border their own.
Oh, wow.
This isn't just a random fact. It creates this incredibly complex web of geopolitical and humanitarian challenges.
Right, because it's like right next door.
Exactly.
Krantz really digs into this, in her work.
Yeah.
She points out that these neighboring countries, which are often low and middle income themselves, bear the brunt of supporting these displaced populations,
Right.
often while facing, struggles of their own.
Exactly. It's a point that often gets overlooked.
Yeah.
But instead of getting bogged down, in the doom and gloom,
Right.
our sources challenge this whole narrative of displaced populations
Yeah.
as just a burden.
Right.
They propose this idea of possibility-driven leadership,
Mm.
a concept Krantz is a huge advocate for.
So it's about seeing potential where others might only see problems.
It's a little more nuanced than that.
It's
It's
a-
about acknowledging the challenges, right?
Yeah.
But then actively seeking out ways to leverage the skills,
Right.
the talent and the aspirations of these individuals.
Yeah.
And it's not just a feel-good concept.
Right.
We see it in action with organizations like Talent Beyond Boundaries, or TBB.
Okay. Tell me more about TBB.
Sure, what are they doing?
They've created this global talent catalog
Okay,
that connects skilled refugees
okay.
with international employers.
Wow.
So think about it, right? You're addressing talent shortages in one part of the world
Right.
while giving displaced individuals a chance to rebuild their lives in another.
That's amazing.
That's a brilliant model.
Yeah, it is brilliant. And I read that the founders, Bruce and Mary Louise Cohen, are really passionate about shifting that narrative around refugees.
They are.
Yeah, they want the world to see their skills and their contributions,
Absolutely.
not just their circumstances.
It's refreshing, isn't it?
It is.
And it's not the only example. There's also Tarjimly,
Okay.
which means translate for me in Arabic.
Oh, wow.
And this app is all about breaking down language barriers.
Right.
It connects refugees with volunteer translators in real time,
Wow.
helping them navigate really critical situations.
That must be a lifesaver, especially in emergencies.
Absolutely.
I read that the co-founders, Atif Yovad and Kenan Wiba, were actually inspired to create Tarjimly based on their own experiences.
Right.
Atif has a tech background,
Yeah.
and Kenan is a Syrian refugee himself.
Exactly. That personal connection really comes through in their work.
Yeah.
But while Tarjimly focuses on those immediate needs,
Right.
another organization, Recoded, is taking a longer term approach.
All right.
They provide tech training programs
Okay.
for refugees,
Yeah.
teaching them in-demand skills
Okay.
like software development.
So essentially, they're equipping them to compete in the global tech industry.
That's right.
That's a bold move.
It is, and it's paying off.
That's great.
Their co-founders, Marcella Bonato,
Okay.
who comes from the world of international development,
Okay.
and Ala Asela, a tech entrepreneur,
Uh-huh. Mm.
are firm believers in the transformative power of tech.
Yeah.
They see it as a way to create sustainable pathways to economic empowerment.
Yeah. I'm seeing a trend here.
You are.
These organizations are all about empowering people,
Right.
not just handing out aid.
You're picking up what the sources are putting down.
Okay, cool.
And that brings us to Give Directly,
Okay.
an organization that takes a radically different approach.
Okay.
They literally deliver cash transfers directly to refugees via mobile payments.
Wait, so they just give them money?
That's right.
No strings attached.
That's right.
Wow.
The group of economists
Okay.
realized that cutting out the middleman and giving recipients the autonomy to choose how to use the money
Right.
could be much more effective
Yeah.
than traditional aid models.
So instead of like dictating what people need,
Right.
they trust them to make their own decisions.
It's a powerful shift in thinking.
It is.
And then we have the Refugee Investment Network, or RIN,
Mhm.
who are focusing on economic independence from a different angle.
Okay.
They're all about promoting investment in refugee-led businesses,
Oh, wow.
connecting investors with entrepreneurs who have been affected by displacement.
So they're providing access to capital and mentorship,
Exactly.
helping these entrepreneurs turn their ideas into reality.
That's it. And their founder, John Kholoud Jr.,
Okay.
is a big believer in the power of social impact investing. He sees this as a win-win situation.
Okay.
Investors get returns
Right.
while also making a real difference in the lives of refugees.
That's great. Okay, so we've seen these incredible examples of organizations using digital tools to support refugees.
And we have.
But what exactly is it about the digital age that's changing the game?
Well, one of the key advantages highlighted in the source material
Okay.
is the ability to overcome geographical barriers.
Okay.
Digital platforms
Yeah.
can connect refugees with opportunities worldwide,
Yeah.
regardless of their physical location.
That makes a lot of sense. It levels the playing field in a way that was never possible before.
It does.
Right.
And think about the power of real-time communication tools during emergencies.
Right.
These platforms can be lifesavers,
Yeah.
allowing for swift action and communication in crisis situations.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't forget about the access to education and skills development.
Right.
Online learning platforms and digital training programs
Absolutely.
are opening up incredible pathways
Right.
for refugees to acquire new skills and knowledge.
It's a game changer for economic empowerment.
It is. And then there's the role of mobile technology in aid distribution.
Right.
Think about how much easier it is to deliver aid and resources when you can leverage mobile payment systems and other digital tools.
Makes the entire process more efficient.
It does.
Right.
And overcomes logistical hurdles
Right.
that often exist in conflict zones.
And with data analytics, organizations can actually gather insights
Right.
to inform targeted interventions and support.
So it's all about using information effectively to maximize the impact.
That's it.
Okay, so while there's still significant challenges,
Yeah.
it sounds like the digital age is creating a whole new set of possibilities for addressing the needs of displaced populations.
It absolutely is, but it's important to acknowledge that challenges still exist.
Right.
And we'll dig into those after a quick break.
Okay. We were just talking about the incredible potential of digital tools to support displaced populations. But it's important to remember that technology alone,
Yeah.
can't solve everything.
Exactly.
The sources that you shared are pretty clear about that.
One of the things that struck me was the discussion around access to essential services.
Right.
Many displaced people, even those who've been in their host countries for years,
Right.
still face significant barriers to healthcare, education, and employment.
It's a reminder that displacement is a long-term challenge,
It is.
and the needs of these individuals extend, far beyond immediate relief.
Absolutely. And it's not just about individual well-being.
Right.
Think about the impact on the host communities themselves.
Yeah.
When public services and infrastructure are strained, it can lead to tension and resentment,
Right.
making integration even more challenging.
So it's this complex interplay of needs and resources.
It is.
Finding solutions that are sustainable for both the refugees and the communities that host them
Yeah.
is critical.
Right. And that's where this concept of sustainable solutions comes in.
Right.
We need approaches that address the immediate needs of refugees,
Right.
but also support, the long-term stability and resilience of both populations.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Right.
The sources also highlight the interconnectedness of displacement with other global challenges like food insecurity and climate change.
Yeah.
I was particularly struck by the statistic that over 60% of displaced people
Right.
live in areas facing food crises.
That number is sobering, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It underscores the reality that these issues are intertwined.
Yeah.
We can't address one without considering the others.
Right.
It's like this perfect storm where
Yeah.
multiple crises are converging,
Right.
creating, even greater vulnerability for those already displaced.
It paints a pretty bleak picture.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, do the sources offer any solutions for tackling, these interconnected problems?
They do, and it's actually quite hopeful.
Okay.
They argue that addressing these challenges requires a more holistic and collaborative approach
Okay.
instead of working in silos. Right.
We need to break down barriers between sectors
Okay.
and find solutions that benefit multiple stakeholders, simultaneously.
So it's about seeing the connections.
It is.
And finding solutions that address the root causes of these
Yeah,
problems.
exactly. It forces us to be more creative.
Right.
To think outside the box.
Yeah.
To design solutions that have a ripple effect of positive change.
I'm starting to see the possibility here.
You are.
Instead of being overwhelmed by the complexity, we can use it as a catalyst for finding truly transformative solutions.
Exactly.
Is that what the sources mean by global ambition?
You're spot on.
Okay.
The sources are calling for this shift in mindset.
Okay.
Urging leaders and organizations to think bigger and bolder
Yeah.
when it comes to addressing the displacement crisis.
Right. Yeah.
It's not just about providing aid,
Right.
but finding solutions that create systemic change.
It's about thinking on a global scale,
It is.
understanding the magnitude of the opportunity.
And recognizing that creating a more just and equitable world can also drive, positive economic growth.
That's the key. And the sources offer some practical guidance on how to put this global ambition into practice.
Oh, yeah.
First, they encourage leaders to assess how their core value propositions align with global needs.
Okay.
Whether you're in healthcare, education, technology, or finance.
Right.
The question becomes,
Yeah.
how can your expertise benefit displaced populations?
So it's about looking beyond our immediate, business goals.
It is.
And considering the broader impact we can have.
Right, and then it's about understanding the scale of the opportunity.
Okay.
The displacement crisis is a global issue with a global market.
Right.
By addressing the needs of this growing population.
Right.
You can drive social impact while also, expanding your reach and creating new economic opportunities.
But it's like that saying, do well by doing good.
Exactly.
We can make a difference in the world while also achieving our goals.
Mm.
What else do the sources suggest?
They emphasize the importance of collaboration.
Okay.
We need to build relationships with humanitarian organizations
Right.
that are already working on the ground.
Yeah.
They have the expertise and networks that can help us develop effective and sustainable solutions.
It's about leveraging existing knowledge and resources instead of trying to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly. And finally, they urge us to invest in scalable and accessible solutions,
Right.
particularly those leveraging digital tools.
Right.
We've already talked about the power of technology, but it's really about combining that global ambition with practical, innovative approaches
Right.
that harness those advantages.
It's about creating a positive feedback loop.
Exactly.
As we invest in solutions that empower displaced populations,
Right.
we create a more stable and prosperous world for everyone. It's inspiring to think about the ripple effect of positive change we can create.
It really is. And that's what makes this topic so hopeful.
Yeah.
It shows us that even in the face of immense challenges,
Right.
there's always hope. Yeah.
And that by working together, we can create a future where displacement is no longer seen as a problem,
Right.
but as a source of resilience, innovation, and possibility.
I love that it reminds us that we all have a role to play
We do.
in shaping a more just and equitable world.
You do.
And that even small actions can have a big impact.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the final point from the sources, the call to action.
Okay.
They challenge us to move beyond awareness.
Right.
And to take concrete steps to make a difference.
So it's not enough to simply acknowledge the issue.
It's not.
We need to be actively engaged in finding solutions.
Precisely. The sources urge us to look around and ask ourselves,
Okay.
do we see problems or possibilities? And if we see possibilities, what actions will we take to turn those possibilities into reality?
It's a powerful question.
It is.
That challenges us to think about how we can contribute no matter how big or small our actions may seem.
Exactly. And remember, even small actions, when multiplied across a global community,
can have a profound impact.
Yeah.
Whether it's donating to a reputable organization,
Right.
volunteering our time, or simply spreading awareness.
Yeah.
We all have the power to contribute to positive change.
It's about finding our own unique way to make a difference and tap into our passion for creating a better world.
And that's a great transition to the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
where we'll explore some specific actions and ideas
Right.
that might resonate with you.
Wow. It's been quite a journey exploring these sources.
It has.
We've gone from, the heartbreaking stories of individual refugees to, the potential for global systemic change.
It's incredible how these sources connect those like micro and macro levels.
Yeah.
One theme that really stood out to me was this call to like shift our perspective.
Yeah.
Instead of viewing displaced populations as a problem to be solved,
Right.
they challenge us to see them as a source of resilience, innovation, and untapped potential.
It's a subtle but profound difference, isn't it?
It is.
When you change the way you look at something,
Right.
you change the possibilities you see.
It's like putting on a new pair of glasses.
Yeah.
And these sources argue that this shift in perspective
Yeah.
is essential for what they call possibility-driven leadership.
Right.
It's about moving beyond a mindset of scarcity and fear and embracing a future where we see abundance and opportunity for everyone.
I'm thinking back to Sophie Krantz's work,
Yeah.
She really emphasizes the power of finding possibility where others might only see problems.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what they mean by possibility-driven leadership?
I think you're right on the mark.
Okay.
It's about having that optimistic outlook.
Right.
But it's also about taking concrete action
Right.
to make those possibilities a reality.
Yeah.
And one of the key actions these sources highlight
Okay.
is recognizing that this is a global issue
Yeah.
that requires a global response.
We can't afford to sit on the sidelines, right?
You can't.
Whether we're business leaders, policymakers,
Yeah.
or just everyday citizens. Right.
We all have a role to play in creating a more just and compassionate world. So let's talk about what that looks like in practice.
Okay.
What are some tangible steps
Sure.
our listeners can take to get involved?
Well, the first step, and it might sound simple, is to educate ourselves.
All right.
The more we understand the complexities of the displacement crisis,
Yeah.
the better equipped we'll be to find meaningful solutions.
Right.
And luckily, there are so many resources available,
Yeah.
from articles and books to documentaries and podcasts.
Knowledge is power, as they say. But learning is just the beginning, right?
It is.
We have to put that knowledge into action.
Exactly. And one of the most direct ways to do that is by supporting organizations that are already doing incredible work in this space.
Right.
We've talked about some amazing examples today,
Yeah.
but there are countless others out there.
Right.
Whether you choose to donate, volunteer, or simply spread awareness,
Right.
every
Wow.
little bit helps. It's true. Even small actions, when multiplied across a community, can have a ripple effect.
Absolutely. And I'd encourage you to think about how you can use your own unique skills and talents
Right.
to make a difference.
Okay.
Are you a tech expert, an educator,
Yeah.
a healthcare professional, an entrepreneur?
Right.
There are countless ways to leverage your expertise to contribute to this movement.
It's about finding that sweet spot where your passions and skills intersect with the needs of the world.
Exactly. And I want to emphasize that it's not just about what we do,
Right.
but how we do it.
Right.
We need to approach this work with humility,
Yeah.
empathy, and a willingness to listen and learn
Right.
from those with lived experience.
That's such a crucial point. It's not about imposing our own ideas or solutions.
It's not.
It's about building genuine partnerships
Right.
and working together to create approaches that are truly equitable and sustainable.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Right.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with this thought. The displacement crisis is undeniably a complex and multifaceted challenge,
It is.
but it's also an incredible opportunity for us to come together as a global community
Yeah.
and create a world where everyone,
Right.
regardless of their circumstances,
Yeah.
has the chance to thrive.
What a powerful message.
Yeah.
It's a call to action to embrace possibility, to ignite our collective power, and to build a future that is more just compassionate and equitable for all.
Thank you for joining us on this journey.
Yeah.
We hope this deep dive has inspired you to see the world with new eyes
Right.
and to take action in your own unique way.
Absolutely. And remember, change starts with each of us. What possibilities will you create today?